Hello and welcome to Petro Media Inc. I'm Terrence Anderson, and today I decided I'm just going to work on a new track with the MPC 5000. This is the first track that I've worked on since I did all the repairs and updated the OS. And a lot of things got sorted out once I did the OS update, which is great. So I'm going to play around with this sample, and I found some things I liked in it that I'm just going to kind of walk through my process of just chopping up the sample and playing with it on here. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll keep my talking to a minimum. Now, I will say that chopping samples on the 5000 and the 1000 is a little tedious because you have to go through each section and basically do the movements and selections. It's a lot easier in the new software. Now that I have everything chopped, I'm going to go through a couple of different patterns and just see what I think makes the most sense and then lay something down. So one of the things I do is I count in my head how I think the sample should lay, and then I'll play the tempo that I'm at and do the count of how the sample is going to play, and then I'll figure out where I want it to be. It's just one of those things that's like a personal thing, you know what I mean? Time for some drums. I realized I left something out. So I went back to the sample and cut that other piece out and dropped it in real quick. And at this point, it's pretty much done. I just realized that I didn't add an extra snare, just something to kind of glue it together. So I went back in and fiddled around a little bit. And I think I liked the final version of what I had, but I wanted to make sure this worked. All right, finished version of this. 5,000 is a beast. Stop sleeping. So this is the first track since I fixed the 5,000. And I have to say, I am liking it more and more and more. I think my feelings with the old equipment, it's just, it just invokes a certain emotion that just makes me love working with it even more. Yes, it's clunky. It's got some quirks. There's no updates ever. There's not going to be an update to it. So the choices with old tech is either you decide to live with the problem or you move on from it. The comparison I could make, I guess you could say, is to the ASR 10. If you know how to work within what it does, you make amazing things. Jake One, he does a ton of work with it. Kanye West made a career on the ASR 10 in the 2000s. So when people say, "Oh man, don't mess with that. That's trash," because Just Blaze said so. Yeah, it has its issues. It's not the 4,000. I honestly hate the comparisons to the 4,000 because it's really not the 4,000. I don't think Akai, or I should say In Music at that point, because they had bought the Akai Pro series at that point, I don't think they wanted to make the 5,000 like the 4,000. It's not even close. And when I say that, I'm not saying that it's not, it can't handle its own. It can definitely do some amazing things. There's stuff on here that the 4,000 could never do. I mean, the 4000 doesn't have a synth. It doesn't have as many faders for the Q links. It doesn't have all the extra features from that perspective. There's things that the 4000 can do with samples that this cannot do. The 4000 can basically mangle a sample into something you want it to be, like basically take nothing and make it into something. I'll admit that, 100% admit that. That's the superpower of the 4000. But comparing the 4000 and the 5000 together, it's just, to me, it's unnecessary because they're just not the same animal. It's like me comparing the 2000 XL to the 1000. The 1000 will kick the 2000 XL's butt every goddamn day. It just will, because the 1000 is feature packed, especially thanks to JJOS. If JJOS got his hands on the main file for the 5000 and started fiddling with it, because the 5000, the 2500, and the 1000 all have similar behaviors. There's just a couple of extra features in the 5000. This thing would be ridiculous. Like, I don't think this would even be a conversation at this point. I think the argument would be, do you buy the 5000 and an MPCX or not? But unfortunately, that never happened. JJOS never got his hands on the main file to like really fiddle with it. It's been locked down. It's been like that for forever. And I don't think it's ever going to change because the community's feelings about the 5000 is so negative, and it comes from a lot of people who've just never really had one. It also comes from those who've had one, like mine, that someone else fiddled with and screwed it all up, and they never reinstalled or changed things. Like when I updated this thing, it behaved right. So I don't have an issue with it. I will continue to make beats with the 5000. I think it's a great platform. I'm not a fanboy for it. I don't want anybody to think that. If you want to ask me what I'm a fanboy for it, I love the MPC 2000 XL. I would buy one tomorrow. It's just so cost prohibitive. It is not worth a $1,500 that I've been seeing online. So I'm not going to do that to myself, especially when there's no easy way to get the audio out other than to track it out. I'm just not really in that headspace to deal with that right now, but I will eventually buy one just because I love it, and it'd be good for me to have one for my own collection. But the 5000's here. The 5000's definitely going to stay. The 1000, I love that thing. And I think I am going to end up picking up an X. I've been looking at it like a lot lately. I like the Studio 2, but it's very limited in control. It's not limited in its behavior. I love how people keep saying, oh man, the Studio 2 is great, but the X is better. Like, they all do the same thing. That's my biggest issue, I guess you could say, with the current version of the way Akai has made everything. It's also what makes it great. You could go from one to the other and everything pretty much behaves the same. So that's the superpower of it. But at the same time, it also says to me, do I really need to buy this big thing? And to be honest with you, the only reason I'm going to buy it when I get around to it is because I like having everything in one spot. And that's what the Studio 2 doesn't do. The Studio 2 allows me to make ideas really fast, in the software with the controls, but it's not as intuitive as having one of these. Just like having the X is very intuitive because all the controls are right there. Every single thing you need to do what you're trying to do is right at your fingertips. And that's what makes the X so great. The Live 2 gets close, but again, you have to jump through menus to get to certain things with the faders, or I should say with the Q-Link knobs. So having everything just laid out right there, boom, 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 especially with the way the software looks, because if you look at the software, you see everything is laid out with all the knobs and faders one time. So it's like everything is right there. So when you have the X, you have everything at your fingertips. I think that's why everybody still tries to use the Renaissance, because the Renaissance, everything's at your fingertips. And it becomes more of an instrument and less of a controller, less of a device, and you just dive in. That's why the bigger MPCs are great like that. The 4000 is more of an instrument because you literally have all of the stuff right there. The 5000 is the same way. The 3000 is the same way. So it's like everything is right there. The 2000 XL kind of does that, and you can manipulate it, and it in its own way, it actually does the same thing. The 1000 is kind of like the middle road guy that does everything you need to just get it done. And honestly, the Q links on the side are cool. I don't really use them too much, but it gets the job done. And I mean, that's at the end of the day, you have to do what gets the job done. Don't sit here and get sucked into the whole thing about buying the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And in all honesty, once it's all done, I'm going to dump it into Logic and do the mix in Logic. I mean, I did a quick mix here, nothing too special. It's definitely not mixed at all. The bass is way too damn loud. But I'm Jamaican, so that shit makes fucking sense. So I love, 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 love bass. Have you seen our carnival floats? It's like 80 bass speakers and 2 tweeters. Handle that shit. So I hope you guys have been liking the videos. I'm going to keep going with the content. Like, share, and subscribe. Definitely hit up the website, pick up some packs. Again, more stuff is coming. I'm putting together some packs today. I'm going to upload some more to the site. And I got some stuff in store for you guys, you MPC guys, that I think you're going to like. I've been digging in my crates. I dove into my main library of stuff and just pulled out some things. It is not fun running through 8 terabytes of content, but I've been digging and finding some crazy stuff that I think you guys are gonna like. I think we all are gonna have a bright future with music. We just have to find another way to do things, and that's okay. It's okay for change to happen. Like, share, and subscribe. Catch you guys next time.